You'll never forget the chill that runs down your spine when you hear the name of the case that has left investigators baffled for decades. A case that began on a stormy night in October 1987 in the small town of Ravenswood, where the residents are still whispering about the horrors that unfolded in the seemingly idyllic community. As you delve deeper into the mystery, you'll start to notice that the evidence never quite adds up, and the truth behind the events that transpired is far darker than you could have ever imagined. The streets of Ravenswood, lined with old oak trees and quaint houses, seem to have witnessed a terror that still haunts the dreams of those who lived there. You find yourself standing in front of the house where it all began, a house that has become a symbol of the horrors that took place within its walls. The house, with its peeling paint and overgrown garden, seems to loom over you, casting a long, ominous shadow that stretches across the pavement. As you approach the front door, you can't help but feel a sense of unease, a feeling that something is watching you from the shadows. The wind rustles through the leaves, creating an eerie melody that sends shivers down your spine. You can't help but wonder what secrets the house holds and what really happened on that fateful night. As you step inside, you're greeted by the musty smell of decay and the faint scent of something else, something that you can't quite put your finger on. The air is thick with the weight of secrets, and you can feel the tension building with every step. You're led to the room where the first body was found, a room that has been frozen in time, with the same furniture and decorations that were present on the night of the murder. The police reports and crime scene photos reveal a gruesome scene, with blood splattered across the walls and a sense of chaos that pervades every inch of the room. But as you look closer, you start to notice that the evidence doesn't quite add up. The wounds on the victim's body seem too precise, too calculated, and the lack of fingerprints or DNA evidence raises more questions than answers. You begin to feel a sense of unease as you realize that the killer may still be out there, watching and waiting. The thought sends a chill down your spine, and you can't help but wonder if you're being watched right now. The shadows in the room seem to grow longer and darker, as if they're moving of their own accord. You try to shake off the feeling, telling yourself that it's just your imagination, but the sense of being watched only grows stronger. As you delve deeper into the case, you start to uncover a web of deceit and corruption that goes all the way to the top. The police investigation was shoddy at best, with key evidence going missing and witnesses being silenced. It becomes clear that someone or something is trying to cover up the truth. You're drawn to the suspect, a man named Jack, who was arrested and charged with the crime. But as you look into his eyes, you see something that makes your blood run cold. A spark of intelligence, a glimmer of cunning, and a sense of malevolence that makes you wonder if he's telling the whole truth. The trial was a sensationalized media event, with the prosecution painting Jack as a monster, but the defense arguing that he was a scapegoat for a larger conspiracy. As you listen to the testimony, you start to notice inconsistencies in the story, small discrepancies that add up to a larger picture. The prosecution's case relies heavily on circumstantial evidence, and the lack of concrete proof raises more questions than answers. As you continue to investigate, you start to uncover a dark history that surrounds the town of Ravenswood, a history of cults, of secret societies, and of human sacrifices that date back to the founding of the town. The more you learn, the more you realize that the murder was just the tip of the iceberg, a symptom of a larger disease that CTS the very heart of the community. You start to feel like you're in over your head, that you're dealing with forces beyond your comprehension. The shadows seem to be closing in around you, and you can't shake the feeling that you're being pulled into a vortex of evil. The rain starts to fall outside, casting a gloomy shadow over the town. The streets are empty, save for the occasional passerby who hurries along, trying to escape the downpour. But you're not alone. You can feel eyes watching you from the darkness, eyes that are waiting for you to make your next move. You start to wonder if you'll ever be able to uncover the truth, or if you'll become the next victim of a conspiracy that seems to have no end. The darkness seems to be seeping into your bones, chilling you to the core. As you sit in the darkness trying to make sense of it all, you start to realize that the truth is far more sinister than you could have ever imagined. The evidence never added up because it was never meant to. The real story, the one that lies beneath the surface, is a tale of horror and depravity that will haunt your dreams forever. You're left with more questions than answers, and the feeling that you've only scratched the surface of a terror that goes far beyond the boundaries of human comprehension. The darkness closes in around you, and you're left with the haunting feeling that you'll never escape the clutches of the evil that lurks in the shadows. You're left with the haunting memory of the case, a memory that will stay with you forever. The images of the crime scene, the sound of the rain, and the feeling of being watched will haunt your dreams. You're left to wonder if you'll ever be able to uncover the truth, or if you'll become the next victim of a conspiracy that seems to have no end. The darkness seems to be closing in around you, and you're left with the haunting feeling that you'll never escape the clutches of the evil that lurks in the shadows. The case of Ravenswood will forever be etched in your mind, a reminder of the horrors that lurk in the darkness, waiting to strike.